Hello, my name is Rabbi Schwartz. I'm speaking to you from Kiryat Sefer in Israel, and the topic is humility. How one can inherit the world with the attribute of humility. There is a verse that we're all familiar with in the Torah. It's actually from Psalms, from Tehillim, chapter 37. And the verse says, "The humble will inherit the world." It's a verse that many people are familiar with. The humble will inherit the world. There's some people who like to make a joke about it and say the humble will inherit the world if that's okay with everyone else. But the truth is that this verse can be understood absolutely literally. And not only is it speaking about the future, but it's also speaking about the present. Right now, for each and every one of us, with the attribute of humility, and to the degree that we can learn this attribute of humility and use it, we can inherit the world. First, we have to start with a definition. What is humility? Many people think humility means to be meek, to be very quiet and very shy, but that's not true at all. The Torah tells us that Moshe Rabbeinu, our great leader Moses, who led us out of Egypt, who led us to Mount Sinai, he was the most humble of all people. And yet we know that he was an incredibly fiery leader, a very fierce leader. He was able to negotiate with Pharaoh. He was able to chastise him, to rebuke him. He was able to lead the Jewish people in their hundreds of thousands and millions and stand up to all the problems that a leader stands up to. He was a true leader. So therefore we cannot think of him as being someone very meek and very, very shy. On the contrary, he was totally outspoken. So then what does it mean to be humble? What actually does it mean to be humble? And the answer is that it means to realize that whatever we have, all of our talents and all of our abilities and all of our assets, all of it is not our credit. It's all given to us. Everything we have is given to us. And not only is it given to us, it's given to us as a loan. We have it just to use for the time that we're in this world, but really it's not ours. And what this attribute requires, it's not actually asking us to change our actions, but mostly to change our thoughts, our attitudes, the way we look at our world. So therefore, if a person is a humble person, he thinks of his possessions as not being his own. His house is not his own house. It's on loan to him. It's for his usage. He will use it in the time that he's here, and hopefully he will use it in the best possible way. He'll use it to further the goal of the world, to do good things with his assets. Same thing with his car, same thing with his business, same thing with his bank accounts. None of this is really his. It's for him to use, to do a good job in the time that he spends in this world. And similarly, when it comes to his family and friends, also, they're not really his. His family is not really his family. They're on loan to him. His wife is not really his wife. Her husband is not really her husband. Her children, their children are not really their children. They're just on loan. They're all the conditions that have been given to us in our lifetime to do the best job that we can do. And further, even our physical body is not ours. It's just on loan to us. We're just using it while we're here. Our intelligence is not ours. Also, it's just being given to us to use. Our talents, even the talents that we've worked on, the skills that we've acquired. So the resources we use to acquire these skills were all just lent to us. And even more, the initiative. A person has initiative, he has courage, he's a get-up, and he's a person who's very active, he's very energetic. All of this is a gift. What's the proof that this is so? The proof is very simple. The minute a person dies, he loses all of these things in a second. In a second, all that was his is suddenly not his anymore. So this is the idea. In our lifetime also, we should be thinking the same way. It's really none of it is ours. None of it is ours. What do we gain with such an attitude? Why should we think such a way? Because it's not the natural way to think. We like to think of those things that are ours as really being ours. What do we gain if we just think of it as not being ours, as something that is just given to us to use? Firstly, one of the gains is that we become free of our possessions. Oftentimes we are enslaved. Our possessions become our master and they enslave us. To become free of your possessions just leads to a different approach to life, a different attitude. It frees us. Also, when one thinks this way, that really none of this is really his, so he can enjoy life as he's never enjoyed life before. Imagine that. He can enjoy life. He's able to experience everything. He doesn't feel enslaved. He doesn't feel jailed by all of those things that normally imprison a person. He's totally free. And moreover, this freedom allows a person to reach higher spiritual heights, because he's not bound to the material world. He's not bound by his possessions. He's not a slave to his possessions. So he's able to explore higher realms. He's able to think higher thoughts and more lofty thoughts. There's a very interesting idea that comes from having this approach. We mentioned before that Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our leader, is described in the Torah as being the most humble of all people. The most humble of all people. There's another superlative that the Torah ascribes to Moshe. It says about him that he was the greatest prophet that ever lived. The greatest prophet. He reached the highest level of prophecy. Now, if we think about it, these two ideas fit together. In other words, because he was the most humble person, so his own ego didn't interfere with his ability to pick up a heavenly message, to be able to hear the voice of the Creator. He could hear the Creator speaking to him because his ego was not in the way. That humility, the fact that nothing is his, allowed him to hear the Creator like no one had ever heard him before, and therefore he was the greatest. He was the greatest prophet. The sages describe him that he was able to see the Creator like one sees a friend through clear glass. There was nothing cloudy about it. It was a true vision. This is the great gain that he was able to achieve for himself with this attribute, this ability of just thinking about all that he has as not really being his. Not really being his. It's for him to use, it's for him to enjoy, it's for him to share with others, and to be active. We are here to achieve. We want to make the most of every moment of our lives, and we have these resources, we have these tools, we have these abilities, we have these talents, and we have intelligence, we have the ability to reason and to argue and to speak and to influence people, to persuade other people. We have all of this. We have these abilities in order to live our lives to the full, but at no point is this ours. No point are we bound by this. Rather, we're just here to do the best that we can possibly do. We should all merit this, to live our lives to the optimum and to enjoy our lives to the optimum and to reach the highest possible heights. I hope you've enjoyed this short speech. Be well. I wish you all lots of success and lots of happiness in all of your endeavors. Thank you and bye-bye.